rescue me from the brink of death once, many years ago in the desert. When it was a great debt. Bamoon proposed that many believers volunteered themselves for the experiment. One other child was identified as a suitable vessel. And
for many years, the Temple of Silence had been in possession of the test subjects were sent into a room that had been prepared for the ceremony and instructed to approach the Ba fragments, whose power had been amplified. If, after some time, this power did not... The original plan was for a 3-stage as the second stage, but as I was deliberating, both Ba fragment, our 2 vessels had both displayed great promise by success to preserve our faith and our...
Ultimately,
in recognition of your... I have always wanted to see you.
I see.
Look, in essence, I borrowed your buff, but you cannot lift a finger against...
I'm sure you don't remember anymore, dear Sino, but you and he, Sethos...
You'd like...
As a follower of Hermanubis, I have allowed this power to remain in the rainforest for far too long. Now...
That power is not yours to
You are wrong. Sino was chosen, but he was not the only.
So those are your terms for freeing the professor?
Despise me all you want. My sins are my own. The Temple of Silence is an innocent party. It is because of my...
So what you're saying is, the power of 1 Ba fragment is not enough? You're asking me to return...
Divine power causes great suffering to those who wield it. How do you know that...
He is no longer a small child. But regardless...
Both my heart and mind are telling me that...
Don't listen to him, Sino. That power is no more...
I know. But if this is a question of your freedom versus a fragment of power...
Sorry to interrupt, but in my view, there are a number of contentions here that still... Say that Sino refuses to return his power, and you also refuse to release Cyrus. Then, we are at an impasse. You're trying to gauge where we stand while keeping your remaining cards close to your chest. Well, my stance is, put the...
Wait, those ears... So... We have a descendant of the... Everything we have longed for, Hermanubis will provide. Perhaps this very day, we...
Why is he coughing so much?
Moon!
Take our leader back to his room. Grandfather, I know what you wish to say. I don't like to drag out conversations. Had Cyrus not stopped the experiment all those years ago, the plan would most likely have been a success. Still, it's no use talking about what-ifs. I'm not like my grandfather. The Temple of Silence has a grand legacy and a sacred duty to fulfill. But I see things a little differently. I don't believe the temple has the same stature that it once did. So I'm not going to force your hand. You're all free to leave. Except for...
You have courage and wise judgment. I truly wish that the temple would take an objective look at the academia, and things will only continue to improve. Why not
If you hadn't betrayed my grandfather, I might well be open to persuasion.
Tainari made a good point earlier. He said there has to be more to your plan. All you and Ba Moon are after is the Ba fragment. The professor will accept whatever fate you deem fit for him out of... Ultimately, you want to trade the Ba fragment for the
I'm glad to see you're giving it some serious...
I won't forsake my professor. Nor do I intend to run from a problem that I must face sooner or later.
That works. Then I'll be... Oh, my grandfather still has a fair few things he wants to...
Are you sure about
I need to think this through. Everyone, let's meet again later tonight.
Alright, well, don't put too much pressure on.
Такс. Такс. Так, ща, one second. Я хочу подивитися, скільки у мене тут от яких штук. 340, маловато. Один день остався и 18 часов. Это... Значит, в субботу я сможу скупиться тут. Окей. 10 этих. Как-то много. А скільки у мене хоч оцих 1260? Я можу... Я можу обменять, как бы... Пока 60 я поменяю, как бы... Так, теперь 8.
I've taken some time to reflect on this. If I had to guess, Professor Cyrus came to the desert. He's a stubborn man who tends to double down when he feels strongly about something.
I agree. My master Nephis says the same thing.
So that's one thing. You've heard all you need to hear about the Temple of Silence. My own memories of this place are hazy, though. Probably something to do with the I do remember having some fleeting moments of profound emotion when vague images would appear. I was still young then, and all I could understand was that there was a strong will inside my mind. The power that came to inhabit my spirit was probably one of the cornerstones of their whole faith. So...
You're not gonna give in to their demands, are you? Surely there has to be another way!
No. I have no intention of returning it. I need this power to protect Sumeru. But the temple has the right to make the final decision over its fate, so I will challenge them head-on.
Kaveh has made similar observations about the desert tribes from his work trips there. He says many of them have their own internal rules. They talk about the importance of never dishonoring. I think we could turn that to our advantage. Go back to the...
Wow, and just...
Looks like we have the same idea. Turn it back on them now while we still can.
Great. And I know...
Так, это не то. Ладно. То есть, если мы сюда упадем, то мы уже тут придется сложно. Если взглянем...
Sethos, Let's talk.
Have you made up your mind?
We'll get to that, but first, I have some degree of medical training, so
I have no objections, although we do have our own doctors here. I doubt you'll be... Follow me. Keep your voices down.
Let's talk outside. Bamoon has fallen into a deep coma, and his prognosis is quite grave. He appears to have sustained a serious injury in his youth, which has been exacerbated over the years. Regretfully, I must inform you that, based on what
Yeah.
You're his heir, aren't you? You clearly have a lot of respect for the man. But you also see things differently. You have a broader... So tell me how we can end this on your terms. Let's find a way to bring all this to a...
Yeah, there's no time to waste here. You know that better than anyone.
You know, the two of you are actually in a very similar predicament right now.
Right. And you didn't create this situation.
You're right. We both look at this problem. I accept, Sino. This all began because of her. Legend has it that when Hermanubis first arrived in Tuletula, he sparred with the city's residents. He and his two companions proved that group of supporters were some of the first members of the Temple of Silence. And the sparring match...
Sounds very fitting.
As a fellow vessel of Hermanubis, your ties to the Temple of Silence run deep. So I will permit you to
3 against 3.
However, I have some additional terms. As the challengers, you must win all 3 of your fights. Letting Cyrus leave with one of the Ba fragments was a mistake, made by my grandfather out of pity. It is a long-standing issue that must be addressed.
None needed. If I win, the Temple of Silence must release... If you win...
It's a deal. Then let's meet at the ceremony.
Well, after how that went...
There never was. Turning back hasn't been an option for...
You have to win.
Yeah, that's right!
Both. Yeah. When you put it that way. I've had to overcome a lot...
Exactly!
The Traveler and I will never lose.
And neither... The desert was home to an ancient and great civilization that for a variety of reasons... But there must be personal factors at work here too. I can't shake the feeling that Bamoon cares for many more things than he lets on.
У дедушки день рождения, не поздравляйте его. Можете нічого не писати, бо мене це роздражає, коли типа починають дзвонити ці родственники, друзья, блядь. Ненавижу такое, вот ненавижу. Ну, типа, есть вечер, вот вечером и звоните, когда уже все празднуют, а не когда вот надо уже, ну, не знаю. Так, стоп, дождите следующего дня. Ага, 8. Значит, вот так вот делаем. И вот так вот. Ага, все. Я думаю, до часу я поиграю сьогодні. Тем более я и так почала рано играть, где-то в 11 или в 10 даже. Так. И где цей зал? Ага. Ага. Так. Просто рілі, ну, мене це роздражає піпець як. Коли оця фігня така.
We gather on this day to perform once more the rite of duels, with the greatest of all sages, Lord Hermanubis, as our witness. For his power and authority, this is our most sacred of ceremonies, and no disruption from the audience shall be. Representing the temple.
Так він же в комі був.
Grandfather,
Алло.
you're here.
A rite of duels after all these years. I am surprised by your decisions, Ethos.
I know what I'm doing, Grandfather.
Representing the academia, the...
Ready. We will fight to have our voices heard.
Warriors, take your positions and decide on the order of... We come not to debate what brings our challengers here, nor what will become of the defeated duelists. Duelists, the might...
Huh? Are you sure?
I agree. She's very strong.
Okay, then
Sure.
we have decided.
So have we. Let's be...
Duelists of the first bout, please step forward.
А против кого нам сражаться? Подождите. Против Сетоса, что ли? Так сразу?
Don't forget, safety first! Hey, you there!
Ah,
You better play
прикинь,
nice with her, or
серьёзно?
Paimon will make you regret it!
Little bit too much chatter from the audience over there.
Hey! Yeah. Yeah.
Ну и...
A swift end to the first bout. When you're both ready.
Let's begin.
Так...
Watch out!
Go, Kanai, go!
He drank plenty of water before the bout, so he should be fine.
And Shroud! Yeah, one with the force. Yeah.
Ага, вот и все. И получается, Сайна залишается. Якраз у нас время есть, чтобы пройти эту миссию. В принципе, якраз таки.
Thus ends the second bout. We will now move to the third bout. Duelists, please step forward.
I'm ready.
So am I.
This is the final stage of the rite. I remind you both that the terms you agreed upon in advance are binding. When you're both ready, you may begin.
I am Sethos, vessel of... For many years, We have kept our covenant with Lord Hermanubis by guarding the secrets of King Deshret. And even in our darkest hour, we earnestly sought Lord. Now, I will fight.
I am Sino, General Mahamatra of the Academia, student and successor of Cyrus. And you. I think you left some things unsaid. This is a sacred duel.
Everyone. Old. My grandfather is a wise leader. He is also known to be a ruler, but our faith has held us back for too long. After I grew up, times have changed. The people of Sumeru are happier and more free. Then I thought of you, Sino. You and I, both, each Ba fragment of Hermanubis stands for something different. Might. Glory. I once thought that the nature of our fragment...
I am more than just a warrior.
Exactly.
The name Hermanubis has left its mark on both of us. Shaped the... So show me your answer, Sino. Show me I can be more than my faith. More than the power I wield. Bring it on!
Так, тут бой буде без вот этого, что... Или як? Да, Вілелекс. Опа, так у них одинаково. Да, в них одинакові ці таланти і навики, в смысле. Тільки в одного фиолетовый, у второго что-то белый, а Сайна черный. Ну да, по 20. Ага, и Сайна ультанула.
That's all you've got. What happened to searching for your answer?
Опа.
Fight's over. Do you yield?
You won.
Well then, looks like you found your answer.
Опа. В смысле? А, тот вынимает частичку.
I give his glory to you.
I've seen that light. That is the light of our Lord, the great Hermanubis, priest over all other priests. His spirit dwells within that lightning, and his will lives on. Once a warrior of Tynar, he emerged from the barren desert sands to serve the god king Al-Akhmar. After the death of the god king, Hermanubis gathered his followers and the Tynarian priests and led them to the city of Tule-Tula. There, they founded the Temple of Silence, and from that day forth, we became stewards of all knowledge that survived from King Deshret's civilization. Barely a century passed before war ravaged the desert. One by one, Eremite leaders took up arms against each other in battles that would devour what little remained of their civilization. Only the wise city of Tule-Tula was spared under the guiding hand of the Tainarians. But peace did not last. Coveting the knowledge of King Deshret, the beasts set their eyes on Tule-Tula. The king of Gurabad laid siege to the city and ordered the sages to surrender to him the Temple of Silence as proof of his victory. The ruling elite colluded with their oppressors, betraying the temple so as to hold on to their rule over the city. They declared that the knowledge guarded by the temple was the true cause of corruption. These were dark days, and we faced enemies on all sides. Our Lord had long since exhausted his strength, keeping the forbidden knowledge introduced by King Deshret at bay. To ensure the temple's continued survival, he broke his being into many pieces and began the ceremony of Hermanubis' legacy, bestowing his power upon his mortal followers. With this power, the temple was able to defeat the tyrant's army. Yet, we were not hailed as heroes. Strange and unfamiliar as this power was, it struck fear into the people's hearts and drove them to reject us. In the end, the people of the temple and the Tule-Tula Tainarians left the city for good and made their way to the rainforest. What followed next was inevitable. The elite of Tule-Tula fell and were decimated. War engulfed the desert. And we wandered from place to place, always in hiding, all the while keeping close watch over our secrets and staying true to our mission. Betrayal forced us out of the desert and into the forest. Then mistrust drove us from the forest into the desert once more. We have lived in exile for far, far too long. Yet, today, the Temple of Silence has borne witness to the glory of Hermanubis once more. Thank you.
How is it? Do you feel okay?
Ну что ж.
Grandfather.
Ага. Грустно, однако грустно.
Hey, Sethos.
I know.
I guess you were prepared for this.
Yeah. He's been on death's door for... at least... he was able to see this chap.
What's next for you?
Per my grandfather's last wishes. The Temple of Silence should submit to whoever possesses the...
But that's never going to work. As I'm sure I did foresee this possibility, and I gave it some thought. The fact is, I know next to nothing about the staff, Sethos. Were it not for this duel, or indeed if you had other intentions, the Ba fragments would most likely be in your hands by now. I do.
Still, I didn't think Bamoon looked very surprised by the fun.
Well, in any case, since the Ba fragments are with me now, Sethos, I would like you to succeed Bamoon as the new leader of the Temple of Silence. You are more suited to the role than I, and
But doesn't that render every...
No, it doesn't. This experience has That's a much bigger deal than you might think, Sethos. You said yourself.
I will try. To be honest...
Actually, part of me wonders whether Bamoon's intentions from the very beginning was just to create enough That way, no matter who won, had you won, the Temple of Silence would have doubled its strength. And were I to win, he correctly anticipated. He knew that the Temple's future, his plan meant that whoever ended up...
And here I thought the General Mahamatra wouldn't care for all of you. You're absolutely right. Grandfather and I considered this from every angle. We had to find a way to mend our relationship with the academia. And thank you for everything, Sino. As a gesture of our gratitude, to those that you and Lesser Lord Kusanali deem worthy, the Temple of Silence has a wealth of information on King Deshret's civilization, more than any other organization in existence today. In times when you need information that only we can provide, we will be here to support you. But you must be exceedingly careful with... By the way, Tainari, the story goes that King Deshret chose the sage Hermanubis from He went on to fight many valiant battles with the Tainarians who left Tuletula, joined their human counterparts in the rainforest. A few centuries later, when some of the group returned to the desert, many of the Tainarians chose to... In all likelihood, those...
How fascinating. My father once mentioned that I was named after the Tainarians, but...
I like this story.
By the way, has anyone seen Cyrus?
Yes. Cyrus. You'll probably find him in my grandfather's room.
If it's true that you and your grandfather really planned for everything to turn out this way...
Who knows? Perhaps all of us. You, me, and...
Someone's got to make the decisions when history... I will make a detailed report on all of this to Lesser Lord Kusanali. And arrange for an I'm sure you'll have lots to attend to in the days ahead. But once things return to normal, please come and visit the ring. If we're going to work together, both...
I will. Alright, well...
See you soon. Come hang out with us,
Сетос, не Сетос, Сетос, точно. Вернуться в академію, я так зрозуміла, пояснити Аль-Хата йому, типа, все оце. Вот мне интересно, что здесь буде за територія. Вони ж не просто так карту сделали такою великою, типа, як та і тут. А вниз воно уходить ще дальше. То есть вони серйозно хочуть якусь територію зробити великою. Скоріше за все, тут буде снежная снизу. Скоріше за все. Я ж не знаю, но возможно. Если Найтланд хочет сделать типа где-то наверху, возможно, вот здесь він буде. Хотя, как все кажут, він за пустыней. Вот здесь где-то, по идее. Ну, возможно, возможно. И здесь тоді это не снежная. Хотя снежная, думаю, где-то должна быть здесь, по идее. Если тут как бы драконий ребят. Хотя, а Пепельное море тоді где буде? Казали, что Пепельное море где-то здесь, по идее. Ну да и ладно. Посмотрим, увидим, як буде тут далі делать территорию. Это аж ждать треба август, получается. Если 4.7 виходить ось скоро, типа на наступному тижні, это получается уже как червень. То получается 4.8 буде, а 4.9 пропускается. Тоді сразу 5.0 буде версія уже в августі, або в вересні випустять. Хотя трейлер уже есть на Атланта, це в чому весь прикол. Я думала, что трейлер будет ближе к 4.8, типа обновлению. А фиг там, окей.
What were you thinking gallivanting off into the desert alone at your age? What if you take the bucket, You told not a soul what you were up to, designated nobody to handle your affair.
Oh, please, will you stop your yelling?
What do you mean, what other choice? Do you mean to tell me that after all your years of learning, and sagehood no less, the only idea you could conjure up in that white-haired walnut of yours was to shoot a one-man suicide mission, That's the best idea that one of the finest minds of a generation could come up with, is it? It astounds me that you
All right, all right. Honestly, the way you're going off on me, it's like you wish you'd been there to lend him a hand.
I've got nothing more to say. What's the point?
What do you mean, bag of bones? I'm a flesh and blood hero, who despite it... Okay, look. Fine, I admit it, I was in the wrong. How can...
1 month?
Inari's master is really laying into Cyrus. Let's give them a wide...
Professor brought this on him.
Wow, I haven't seen Master. The last time he chewed someone out like this must have been back when I was...
I think I'll go around and update everyone. Tell them the situation's resolved. We can go for dinner afterwards.
Makes sense. I'm in.
Это значит, выхлоп, по идее. Так ведь? А не, парусан.
Hey, Kale.
You're back! Well, look who we have here. Would you mind explaining to me what has been going on this past few days?
All taken care of.
That does not answer my question. How could you be so careless? That goes for you as well. When you run into problems, you really ought to ask for help, you know? I've been around the block. Don't you think it would have made sense to involve me? And let's not forget,
now would not be a good time to attempt to...
You're right.
It's not the first time that I've had to talk to you about this sort of thing either. You need to learn that there are times when the right thing to do is get a more experienced member of staff and...
Kale, please do something.
He's giving me the signal. All right, get...
Say, Madame Farazan, I can see you're pretty upset.
Huh? Wait, did I hear that right? Kale, you remember? Wonderful.
Poor Kale getting dragged off like that. Also, check out Farazan acting like some sort of official academia tune.
Kale! Cup.
Huh? What?
What do you mean, cup?
Oh, it's nothing. Just Master's way of reminding me to stay hydrated while I'm out and about.
It's code for let's reconvene at the cafe. Tainari and I used it while we were in school, and it's become something of a family tradition.
Oh, that's kind of...
2 people left. Let's bring them along.
Так, а тут тільки... А, тут вони оба.
Am I hallucinating? Or do I see Kaveh and Alhaitham engaged in... diligence?
We're just reorganizing all the books we used. Look, there's a whole...
There's no rush. Nobody...
My sincere thanks.
Yes, with your help, we resolved the issue rather swiftly.
I see. The Temple of Silence resorted to rather unique means of self-preservation.
And it sounds like they managed to preserve a whole load of ancient documents as well. I'd love...
That day will come. The Temple of Silence is a hugely important organization. Now, as a token of my appreciation.
Yeah, sounds great. Although after the last few days, I'd...
Sure.
Такс. Это вот сюда. Ну, ми ще якраз закончимо місію із Сайно і зашибісь буде в отрілі. Ну, такі місії, вони або короткі, або от на 2 дня, типа, розтягнуться і зашибісь. Ну, тобто, якщо ви граєте, наприклад, 2 часа або 3 часа тратите в день на ігру, то, в принципі, как бы, таку місію можна пройти за 2-3 дня. Но если по часу, да, там тоді придется вам довше играть, дней, типа, як, ну, за 4, за 5 дней, типа, як можете закончить таку миссию, або за 6 даже. Я давно не играла в Assassin's Creed Valhalla, я собираюсь, возможно, еще вернуться в эту игру. Я подумала, что все равно, пока нету вот этих миссий в Геншине, типа, як... От якби вони б на 4.7 дали би щось іще із задання легенда. Хоча б Тарталью би дали. От реально, хоча б Тарталью. Возможно, из Тартальи буде уже смешное задание легенд. Возможно, но не факт. Або під час Найтланда. Возможно.
Then there was Tainari. He put up an amazing fight too. We ended up winning all 3 bouts. Whoa. Part of me wishes I'd been there to see it, but...
A truly edifying account of the events. Bereft of...
Hey, Paimon included all the juicy details. The Traveler just pounced, and then waved their sword like this, then split him.
Despite winning 3 bouts in a row, you still ceded the position of leader to him. That's very dignified.
Of course. Being dignified
I got to be a champion too for once. I've not sparred much with desert folk before. It was a pretty unique experience.
Yeah! Huge place! It felt like something right out of an epic poem! Imagine this. It was like there was...
Maybe save that one for later, Paimon.
I think that'll do me for today.
Shall we stop off at the House of Dana again before heading home?
My thoughts exactly. See you around.
I should get going as well. See you all later.
I need to go say thanks to the Core 30 for their help. Also, Sir Nephis says he wanted to introduce me to some of the Academia's work process.
Kale's come a long way. She's much more confident.
Everyone's a work in progress. You never stop learning.
Yeah, true.
Не знаете, мне кажется, вот эта миссия Исайна, это чисто задание троицы. Вот это, типа, Лимень посередине, Сайна слева, Технари справа. И зашибись. Я вот даже бы нарисовала бы такой коллаж, типа, там, где вони, типа, як идут вместе втроем. И где-то здесь, там, типа, по бокам, типа, я бы сейчас сделала, типа, знаете, типа, як их эмоции, что вот Лемин, типа, достает свой меч, ну, или добавит еще плюс Альхатайма, там где-то из кабиху можно, по-моему, что же там помахал, как-никак.
Life is all about these moments when you can finally relax and hang out with good friends after a
Do you 3 have anything planned for the rest of the day? If not, would you come somewhere with me? That's a secret for now.
Okay. I think I can guess what you're talking about.
Well, now Paimon's curious!
А куда? Опять... Куда? Куда, ёпта? Выше? Ну мы же почти тут, как раз таки. В смысле?
Been a while since I last... Need any help?
That's a nice spot, isn't it?
What a great view! We're so high up!
Traveler. Turn around.
смысле? Вот оно
This
что.
is my secret base. So, when I was a student, I used to slip away and climb up here all the time, just to clear my head. Back then, I had a lot of the same questions that Zethos was asking. Who am I? Why do I have this? Our gifts help us to find our rightful place in the world.
You two really are like brothers.
I feel the same way. Of course. I see no need to be humble when it comes to the facts.
I still remember one time when we came up here to chat and do our homework. Sino accidentally dropped a fruit. Luckily, he has
That was the one and only time. Nothing will ever slip through my...
Those were good.
You know, Paimon...
Then make it stop. You guys carry on with...
Okay.
Huh? Hey, you're not supposed...
Такс.
Oh, my days.
Professor?
Sino. Just the man I'm looking for. Get...
Some old photos?
Can you believe it? This notebook was just sitting in a pile of odds and ends in the Sage's office. I was at the Academia earlier to discuss my workload with Nephis. I swung by the... Oh, time flies. Look how tiny you are in the...
You look quite young yourself in that one. Ah, it's this one.
Yep. Looks like her work, all right. Who else could have found just...
And this one. Looks like we're...
Oh, cheeky girl. Taking secret photos...
Is there something you'd like to say to me, Professor?
Like what? Like... hey. At moments like this, I can't pretend I'm a good person. Bamoon had every reason to despise me. Well, so do you.
Don't be ridiculous, you...
Is that... Oh, I've dreamt of that place many times after leaving the desert. Sometimes... Oh, it was... What... You've matured so much over the years, I know.
Since you're my professor, I should save you some face by not calling you out on all the
Good thinking. Take your own advice next time. Seriously, why bully an old man like me? I thought heroes were supposed to be gracious. Hey, wait, how did I not notice this one earlier?
Lisa strikes again. Just how many did she take?
Look how cute you were when you were little.
Yeah, and look how serious and
Oh, I can't compete.
Don't...
That's... Hey, what would you say to meeting up with Lisa again?
I'd like that. Let's find a time.
All right, I'll add it to my
Лиза,
schedule.
так вот про
Let's
кого
go next
они
week.
кашут, а?
Wait, no. Next week is the tomato growing competition.
Or you could find a real hobby, Professor.
Ну, вона, походу, була, значить, я даже не знаю, як сказати, вона намного моложе виглядає, ніж Сайруса, значить, вона була младше, типа, як, от і все. Новое, хорошее, забытое начало. 60 камней, 100 как нам пришло в начало. 460. Сколько мне времени осталось, чтобы выполнить вот всю миссию? 3 дня. Ну, тогда завтра я уже схожу. Или на конька сходить вот этого. Пока є время, но я не можу на нього сходити, поки я оце не пройду. Тем более 15 камней из стока плюс. Это то, что надо нам. И нам надо еще и на куб сходить, не забыть. Ну, чтобы нахиду сделать. Может быть, мы нахиду и сделаем. Может, я буду менять и с Альхатаймом, типа там. Такс. Так, что тут нам надо поменять? Вызовет элементарные реакции 10 раз. Или то сделать, я поняла. Так, ща. У меня время есть, как бы. Может, завтра я уже конька пройду, а сейчас хотя бы получим 15 камней истока плюс. А может даже и 45 еще плюс. Мне придется рили дуже долго вот это делать, как бы.
Ha! Germinate! Teamwork is dreamwork! Lights out.
You can run, but you can't hide. Tidal wave.
Scatter! Judgment!
Let's light it up!
Вот так вот. Мы получаем серебряную, так что у нас как раз таки есть возможность пойти все-таки еще и на того морского конька. Что же делать? Тем более мы сейчас заберем 45 камней истока. Плюсик, плюсик, плюсик. Не будет у нас 500 камней истока. Может, на 4,7 нам дадут якесь задание, хоть якесь. Типа, чтобы мы хоть розуміли, что и как. То есть, чтобы нам давали камни истока, ну и плюс какие события тоже нормальные, чтобы хоть насобирать там до 1000 камней истока хотя бы как-то. Бо я так розумію, тільки першої половини там не буде оцих. Ну я хотіла би Сетоса вибити, но якщо в нього таланти такі, як і в Сайно, то мені вже буде проще Сайно зробити, как би. Такс. Что требуется? Уничтожить жемчужины на море 1. Потом заберу нагороду. Может, мы тут сейчас и получим. Ну. Пушка. А зачем пушка?
Brace yourself. This is gonna hurt.
Да в смысле?
I'm going in.
Да в смысле? Да в смысле?
Punishment.
Tidal wave.
Propagate. You can't run. Let's light it up. That's gonna hurt in the morning.
Все. Такс. Хроники поиска. Угу. 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 А, 60, 30, 60 и 30. Это 90 плюс 90, это 180. То есть, по сути, у нас уже 670. Чудесно. Так, и останется 5 карточек. Ну что ж, тогда, пожалуй, я буду заканчивать на этом. Так что до скорой встречи, а также подпишитесь на мой канал и поставьте мне лайки. Всем удачи и пока-пока.